One of the biggest storylines of the FACEIT Major was compLexity's fairy tale run through both the Challengers and Legends stages, where they only dropped one map versus Astralis. Some say they just got lucky draws from the Swiss system, but the reality is, compLexity played excellent CS. Looking at compLexity's games from the Major, the first thing that jumps out is their tight system of team play, an obvious product of all the work IGL Stanislaw put in. Watch how compLexity's system trumps MIBR on both a micro and macro level. It's round 22 of their quarterfinal match against MIBR on Inferno. compLexity is on a rough bye with limited utility and weaponry. This is a big problem for the CTs, since defending on Inferno relies on controlling choke points with utility and being able to flash and molly terrorists out of position on the retake. With no way of controlling or applying pressure on the map with utility, compLexity instead opt to push Ye and Android into apps late in the round. Tarek, holding for aggression, tags Ye to 1 HP but gets picked. After seeing this kill, compLexity expects a hit, and so Def rotates off of B to Arch side. Def is punished for his peek, but from his pressure, Stanislaw is able to find a tight 2k trade. He then calls for an instant pop flash from Android to re-peek the angle, blinding coldzera and Stewie2k, giving compLexity the round and Stanislaw the 4k. So overall, we saw Android and Ye working together to hunt for info, which prompts a smart rotate, which leads to a good trade, followed by tight communication and utility usage. These are all signs that compLexity is headed in the right direction and could be a real threat down the line. But keep in mind, we did see the Americans struggle, especially with their firepower. In round 11 of Train from the same series, we see compLexity play the macro game perfectly on their CT side again. As MIBR take halls and hint at being on a default, Stanislaw smokes off Ivy and then gets aggressive, pushing into A main with Def. Once Stanislaw is set up, Def then pushes into ladder, smoking it off and gaining even more map pressure for compLexity. At this point in the round, compLexity have dominated the macro game, pushing MIBR off A main, Ivy, and ladder, creating a lot of map pressure and forcing them towards B. Stanislaw reads MIBR's play and tries to lay a trap. He pushes Def and Shazam into fast rotate spots near Z, while rotating back towards Ivy to hold the flank. compLexity are totally aware the hit is about to come in. They have the counter utility in place and are ready to punish MIBR's execute. Despite everything being in compLexity's favor, Stewie2k rushes through Ye's molly, takes out Android, pushes to Z, and finds frags on Def and Shazam, essentially winning the round single-handedly. We saw a similar situation in their game against G2 on Cash in round 19. Here we see G2 execute onto A site fast. Shazam is in position to defend on site with the AWP, and his teammates are in fast rotate positions. As Shazam whiffs a couple of his openings, eventually finding a pick onto Smiths, Ye is traded out at Highway. Def pushes mid looking for a quick flank. As the fight continues on the site, Def finds his opening from Squeak, taking out Existence and Body, while Shazam lands a shot onto Kenny S. Up 4-on-1, compLexity seems to be in an unlosable situation, but somehow, Shox is able to hit an insane 2k spray down. He repositions onto red and takes out Stanislaw, who's defusing. Despite Android getting the trade, Shox managed to buy enough time for the bomb to explode. In both of these examples, individual stars from the enemy team overwhelmed the control and structure of compLexity through sheer skill and momentum. That said, it's not as though compLexity were total victims though. It's important to recognize that the NA squad saw some of their own individual overperformances throughout the tournament. However, these superstar performances were not characteristic of their overall showing at the Major. Even if the team doesn't get as good as a draw as they had in London, their underlying structure and aptitude for team play is something that is probably going to stay. Right now, the run is being used to discredit the Swiss system, but CS heads can study compLexity's games to learn how to properly control the map and read the flow of a round. Before we call compLexity's run sheer luck, let's also give credit where credit's due and hope that the solid win conditions they showed in London can continue. Blitz has a new Fortnite channel with tips and tricks to help you crush mobiles and maybe even win.